Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Gary Franchi here reporting from the White House briefing room. In the past 24 hours, President Trump exposed the biggest theft in American history and named names. Corrupt politicians, crooked state officials, and a scheme funneling your tax dollars to people who shouldn't even be here. What he revealed in the Oval Office will make your blood boil, and it's all on video. Now, here is why this matters to you. You see, every single paycheck, money comes out for Medicare, for Medicaid, for programs that are supposed to help Americans, but instead, billions, maybe even trillions, are being siphoned off, stolen, sent overseas, given to illegal immigrants who then buy Mercedes while you struggle to pay your mortgage. This isn't some abstract government waste story. This is your money. This is your family's future. And the Democrats didn't just let it happen. They set it up. They created the system. They looked the other way. And now President Trump is ripping the lid off the entire rotten operation. He signed an executive order that could really change everything. And what he said about why previous leaders ignored this fraud, well, let's just say he didn't hold back. And speaking of reclaiming what is rightfully yours, I do want to share something personal that changed everything for my family. You see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis. We went through endless doctor's visits, treatments that didn't work, and I watched her struggle daily, and it broke my heart. Then Jonathan Otto introduced us to red light therapy. Her pain vanished, her anxiety lifted. She's sleeping soundly now, full of energy and life again. And my own recovery and vitality, better than guys half my age. This has been truly life-changing for our family, and it's backed by NASA research, FDA cleared, and studies show rapid pain relief. When you're fighting to take back what's been stolen from you, whether it's your tax dollars or your health, you need real solutions that actually work, and red light therapy delivered for us when nothing else could. Take a look at the link below and make sure you use the promo code when you check out. Now, here is where we're going to get back to the massive fraud operation that President Trump is dismantling as we speak. So the president gathered his team in the Oval Office: Vice President Vance, FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson, Senior Advisor Stephen Miller. And what they revealed about government fraud will have you seeing red. And I'm going to show you exactly what's happening. First up, we have a reporter asking President Trump point blank, why haven't other leaders tried to stop this fraud? His answer? Well, he didn't sugarcoat it. He went straight at the corruption. And what he says about block voting and the gravy train is something no other president would dare say. Watch this.
You said during your State of the Union that this type of fraud, the corruption, is the type of thing that can shred the fabric of a nation. Why do you suppose then that leaders in recent memory haven't looked at the systemic amount of fraud
because
that's
they're
taking
crooked.
place? And
because they're crooked. They make money. They gain power. They use it for power. Like with the Somalians, they vote in a block, 100%. They make a deal with the Somalians. They all vote because they're on a gravy train. It's money first, power second. A lot of people say power first. No, it's money first, power second. Did you ever see where, like, Mercedes, people come over from Somalia, they have no money, and now they're buying Mercedes-Benz cars? Okay? It's more cash goes out of the Minnesota airport than any other place in the world or so. We're going to find it. And Minnesota's really bad. The governor's corrupt. The attorney general's totally corrupt. Just like the New York State attorney general, Letitia James. She's a highly corrupt person. Bragg, the DA, is a corrupt person. They're all corrupt. These are corrupt people. And we got too many of them in our country. And we have to expose them. And we have to catch them. And if these two guys can't, these are high IQ people. I've always liked high IQ. These are high IQ people. If they don't do it, we're going to go a long way, fellas, to find somebody else that's going to. We have no choice. If honestly, and they may not do a good job. If they don't do a good job,
thank you, sir.
It's possible. If they don't do a good job, the country's sort of in trouble. Yes, go ahead.
Thanks, sir. Two questions for
And I think they're going to do a great job. Go ahead.
Did you catch that? Because they're crooked. They make money, they gain power, and then he dropped the hammer on Minnesota, said more cash goes out of that airport than anywhere else in the world, called out the Attorney General, called out Letitia James, called out Bragg. These are corrupt people. No politician talks like this. That's why they hate him. But here's the thing. This isn't just Trump venting. He's got a plan, and his FTC chairman just explained why this hits you personally. FTC chairman Andrew Ferguson stepped up and laid out exactly where your money is going. What he says about hospitals, daycare centers, and completely fake businesses will make you understand why this fraud task force is so urgent. Now listen to this.
Millions and millions of Americans pay into these programs every day, and they expect to get something out of it. And this fraud is just siphoning money that millions of Americans pay to fund their hospitals, to fund their daycare centers, into completely fake businesses. It isn't just unfair to all of us as taxpayers who pay for all this. It's particularly unfair to the Americans who need this the most and watch this money leave their hospital, leave their school system, and go out to fraud. And that is why this effort is so important. And I think we've just begun really looking at this, but I think that one of the things we're going to find is that in a lot of these agencies, the previous administration was pretty lax about existing anti-fraud controls, and we're going to expose that too.
Completely fake businesses. That's where your tax dollars went. Money that was supposed to fund your hospital, your kids' daycare, siphoned into fake companies, and then Ferguson dropped the bomb. The previous administration was pretty lax about fraud controls. Pretty lax? They weren't lax. They were complicit. So what is Trump actually doing about it? Well, he's signed something that's never been done before. And this is the moment. President Trump at the Resolute desk, pen in hand, about to sign an executive order creating something brand new, a fraud task force led by Vice President Vance. And what they're saying about how much money could be recovered, the numbers are absolutely staggering. Watch.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. This is a big thing that we're doing. It's about fraud, having to do with all the fraud that's taking place in our country. And we have two people that are extremely brilliant and just very talented, and they're going to be put in charge. But I'd like to ask Will, if you would, to give a little description of what we're signing, the executive order, and then I'll ask JD to speak.
Yes, sir. As you stated in your State of the Union address, in light of widespread revelations of fraud in federally funded programs in states like Minnesota and California, this executive order in front of you will establish a new task force aimed at rooting out that fraud, returning potentially billions or tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of dollars to the American taxpayer. This task force will be chaired by the Vice President. The Vice Chairman will be the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, who's with us here as well today. But this is going to launch a whole-of-government approach to rooting out the very serious problem of fraud in federally funded programs around the country.
Did you hear those numbers? Billions, tens of billions, potentially hundreds of billions back to the American taxpayer. This executive order creates a whole-of-government approach to hunt down every stolen dollar. Vance is chairing it. Ferguson is vice chair. And these are serious people who are going after serious criminals. But wait till you hear what Stephen Miller revealed about how the Democrats set this whole scheme up. He steps up and says what he's about to say will change how you understand the border crisis. You see, it's not just about illegal immigration. It's about a deliberate wealth transfer from American citizens to people who broke the law to get here. And the numbers he reveals from ICE are jaw-dropping. Watch.
Under President Trump's leadership, as we've seen, the illegal flow across the southern border was stopped completely. But what we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These aren't the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. This is one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then of course with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we're going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers. I believe, and I know President Trump believes, that when this theft is exposed, we will see that if all of it were stopped, it would be enough to balance the budget. The extraction of wealth from American taxpayers to people who don't belong here is the primary cause of the national debt, and this is the first ever effort to shut that down. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Democrats set up a system Those are the words. Not an accident, not incompetence, a system designed to funnel hundreds of billions, ultimately trillions, to people from places like Somalia. And for the first time in American history, someone is actually going to stop it and then reclaim that money. Now, I'm going to tell you what this all means. This is the bottom line. For years, the political establishment told us that government waste was just the cost of doing business. Too complicated to fix, too hard to track. Well, they lied. President Trump just proved that they weren't incompetent, they were complicit. They made money, they gained power, they cut deals with voting blocs, and they let your tax dollars flow to fake businesses, illegal immigrants, and corrupt officials. But that era is over. This fraud task force, led by Vance and Ferguson, backed by Trump's executive order, is the first real effort to stop the bleeding and get your money back. So, Patriots, this is why we do what we do. We'll show you the clips. We'll tell you about the trillions stolen from American families, and you just saw it, straight from the Oval Office, straight from the president's mouth. Now, I need you to do something. Share this video. Send it to everybody who still thinks this is just politics as usual. They need to see what's really happening. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell, because we are going to keep exposing the truth no matter what. I'm Gary Franchi, reporting to you from the White House. As always, stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay free, and we'll see you at the next report.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.